So today I have been thinking about the hidden cave and ideas for the hidden cave, and it's really strange how I came up with. I've just started seeing Sean Paul's videos. I mean, I think I recognize the name mildly, but I don't know. It was the Jennifer Lopez new song about the bride, the wedding song that she's done just recently, and it brought up a song that I kind of remembered, and I went to go and see who that was, and it was Sean Paul's. And I've kind of looked through all his songs. Well, I think I actually named him Angel of the Gangsters from like two songs because he had. They were I really loved them in clubs. You know, every time those there's two or three of his songs that I really loved, and every time they would come on, it would be like, yes, hit the dance floor, definitely. And he's definitely got a sort of gangster attitude. And I like how the fact that he's not black, because I think a lot of people, when you say gangsters, they would link it to coloured people specifically. And really, the gangsters are kind of, it's just a group of, I guess, thugs or a thuggish attitude. I do what I want, but at the same time, gangsters can take care of their girlfriends. Although I think sometimes a lot of them call their girlfriends bitches and stuff like this. So there's good and bad to gangsters. Some of them are lovable and got charm and quite a lot of masculinity, or power or something, and then some of them are kind of just jerks. But yeah, I think for the setup that I need to do, um, liking gangsters is part of the setup because that's part of the deception. Um, I feel like I need to portray myself as like some sort of monster, or the media, not me, but the media need to portray me either in a bad way or a good way. I suppose there could be lots of people saying different things, but yeah, so I don't want people to get to know me because I feel like that's just, they don't deserve it. That I like the idea of trying to just get them to commit suicide via um, believing in wrong things. You know, there's lots of Christians who believe wrong things, and okay, their belief isn't that bad, but it's a suicide religion. Christianity is a suicide religion, um, because it's all about getting to heaven and getting to the Father through through the sacrifice, and because I know that I'm the sacrifice and I'm extremely pissed off about it. I kind of hate the people who love the idea of there being a sacrifice to save them. But I would like to play a trick on them by saying, yes, there is a sacrifice that can save you. You just need to, you know, put me through some sort of sacrifice. I'm doing that mostly for the attention. That would be mostly just to get their attention. People love talking about certain things, sex being one of them. So that's an easy way to get their attention. I think if I'm just a person, a lot of people just be like, oh, I don't care what you have to say, I don't care about your anything. I just, people like a victim, or people like to talk about a victim, or people like to talk about a monster, whether I'm portrayed as a sort of innocent victim, or um, Babylon the Great, who's kind of, if you start saying that I'm the one that's responsible for killing Amy Winehouse or something because she's angel of lies, and or many lies, angel of many lies, and she also had a kind of an image that wasn't very good. It was, yeah, a bit drug addict kind of image, and I don't know, but if she had really good songs and she had a good fan base, but if people angled things like that to be like, oh yeah, Anna killed her, even things like that would just encourage people to want to hate me, or to want to, um, people say they love God, but if they knew that, God created cancers to try and reduce the population, they don't hate God, they would despise God. And that's, maybe I did. So maybe I did create cancer to reduce the population. I mean, it's not targeted at specific people. It's more of a random thing, but or AIDS or something. Did I create AIDS to stop people from just having sex with lots of different people? I don't know. I don't know what I've done. But if you say things like this, people are going to hate me and they're not going to like me. Um, and I don't really care. I just, if there's a deception that makes them think that getting into the other realm by shooting themselves and hurting me, then, or by hurting me then shooting themselves, then we can do your best to keep nice people on earth. But I've had such a shitty life that it's difficult for me to know who's a nice person. So I'm fantasizing about being in a cave, um, but I want to do it in a way that's not too embarrassing for me. I want there to be a nice, lovely house up top where I can sunbathe and do all the things that I want to do. But I'm thinking if I'm sunbathing and you're pretending to the world that I'm living in a cave for 3.5 years, people are going to want to know why I always have a nice tan. So it has to be a cave that has like some sort of tanning bed. Maybe it can have a jacuzzi. Washing is very important, and if there's a jacuzzi, then I'm going to be wearing then I'm going to be wearing bikinis a lot of the time, or I'm going to be wanting to um, go into the sauna or the steam room and then get hot and then sort of lie down. But I don't want to spend most of my time in the cave. I want to spend most of my time in a nice house trying to. Thing is, though, if I am in a nice house, I am still going to have a huge amount of hatred for the people that have ignored me for 11 years. So I don't know. I don't even know if I was in the house. I don't know if I really want to be with anyone. I really really hate people, and I like being isolated because I hate people that much. So it would be nice to have just my private life in my private home, and then just every now and then be called downstairs to make it look like I'm downstairs. Now I'm going to be feeling the effects of what I've gone through over the last 12 years for a very very long time. So if I am in a cave acting like I'm going through a huge amount of suffering, I think it would be very easy to act that out because I would still be feeling the effects of what I've gone through over the last 12 years of just being God, knowing I'm God, and also knowing that no one in the world gives a shit, whilst millions of people, billions of people are claiming that they do know me and stuff. And I will never get over this. And if I am living in a house trying to recover, and then just every now and then go down into the cave, I'll probably have the same sort of trauma set that it would probably be convincing that I'm living in the cave. But yeah, I don't want though to be there to be like screaming of me trying to get out of the cage because that would be kind of embarrassing, and it's not something that I would even be able to act out because I actually like isolation right now. So you might need to like work your way around these things by making out that I was dragged into the cave, left there for like 7 days, like chained to the floor or something, and then now I'm being given a nice bed, and I've sort of in the first if you kidnap someone, the first few days they're going to be doing a lot of struggling and panicking, and I don't think I'd be able to act out that because um I'm good at lying, but I'm not that good at lying that I wouldn't want, and it was embarrassing. I wouldn't want to sort of act out that. So if you kind of make out that I've already been kind of I've gone through that initial first stage shock of being in a cave, and then you could just say, we're not showing that because it's not nice, but just show it from like a stage where I've kind of like accepted that this is my new home now. That way I can kind of avoid any embarrassing get me out of here kind of scenes, because I don't really want that to go public, and it's not going to be real anyway, so it might look fake because it is fake. But yeah, part of this thing is that you shouldn't show everything, because if you show everything it might look fake because it technically is fake. But if you just show like small clips, and just say, what, the people that are doing the hostaging, they're the ones that are kind of mostly enjoying it. Hence, they don't give a shit like what the public really think. They just kind of want to tell the public that they've captured Christ, that Christ is here and locked in some sort of cave, basement, cellar thing or whatever. And um, I don't know if I mean, you could even do clips where you just have someone lying in a bed with like underneath the covers or something, and it might not even be me. It could just be someone, like just someone with blonde hair lying in a bed, um, and you can just pretend that I'm doing that 24/7 all day when really it's just someone else under there, and I'm upstairs sunbathing or doing whatever I want, and then yeah, and then I don't know really what else to say. What trying to get more inspiration. I like the book idea that weird cult group had, a book of all the people, and then I have to kind of like list in order my favorite to least favorite. Although that is kind of hard if you're on the least end. It's mostly because I don't really know you. Like there's lots of I think A1 band. Like I wasn't following them, so I don't really know them. So it would be hard to kind of like list. If I was to list in order of guys that I liked most to least, it might be kind of difficult because it's just like I don't really know any of you, and I'm basing it off your looks mostly. Unless you had like some sort of screen where they talk and dance. I mean, that guy, that weird cult guy, he had video clips of girls, I don't know, coming onto him basically through through the TV. That would be an interesting idea. Getting inspiration from a psycho cult. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's. But it would need to have a salon. It would need to have a salon. I think me looking good wouldn't necessarily be done for me. I mean, it would technically be done for me because I'd like that. But if you do anything for me in the caves, you could do it, but make it look like you're doing it for yourself. And things like having a spa or a jacuzzi, you know, that would look like it might look like and it would feel like it's doing it for me, but technically you could also say it's doing it for you because it's important to stay clean and hygienic or whatever. And having a tanning thing, you know, some people prefer darker or more tanned skin, darker skin rather than looking pale and white. And a salon would be good because I'd get more interest if I looked good rather than looking a mess. And but yeah, I don't know. I could go upstairs and go on the internet and just to see kind of. I think it'd be so cool to set up something like this because it would teach people a lesson for talking about things that they know nothing about. You know, there's so many people that make up stories about, or they read or listen to things that have happened, and then they assume that they've got, you know, I have an idea of exactly how it was, and then the picture. And I just feel like a lot of them don't have a clue what the actual picture is. You know, someone's talking about all the shitty things that have happened at a specific time, and they feel like they've got a very good picture of what happened. And you know, I noticed that with some of the YouTube videos that I'm watching. Someone's trying to tell a story of an interviewer, and then you have sort of over talking all constantly about explaining. So this is what she felt. This is how she felt. This is what she went through. And sometimes they would say things, and someone else would come back and say, "Oh yeah, we know exactly what you mean." This, and then I'm listening to it, I'm thinking, "Is that what she meant?" Because I'm not convinced that that's what she said. You know, one of the Jeffrey Epstein's cases says that she didn't like going on the internet because she felt overwhelmed because there was all these people talking about her own story, and it became too much for her. And they took that as them saying, "Yeah, you went through so much, and then to have all these people just, you know, relive your trauma, and you know, and that's too overwhelming for you." And okay, maybe she was saying that, or maybe she was just saying that, you know, she'd gone through an experience and now she's going through more experiences because everyone's talking about her life as if they know what happened and know how she felt, when really they weren't there, and they're actually kind of brainwashing her into thinking that it's worse than it actually was. You know, it was traumatic, it was this and it was this, and people are telling her how she felt, even though her own mind might not exactly remember it. You know, when you bring up horrific or traumatic experiences, you know, you relive it when you talk about it. Now, if you were to talk about it and then about hundreds of other people are starting to make YouTube videos about it, you know, it's almost like every time you listen to the same story, you relive it in your head, only this time you've got other memories of other people talking about it, other people saying how you felt and how you were, and stuff. And this actually adds to the trauma, but it doesn't necessarily add to a real trauma. It makes whatever you've gone through feel even worse. You know, if someone was to go on about all the how horrible my last 12 years was, you know, in a way they would actually make me feel like it was worse than it was, because when you're going through it, you kind of think of the positives and the negatives. And then if you talk about the negatives and then have a million other people talk about the negatives, suddenly you can look back on your past and think, well, was it that bad, or was it even worse than what I thought? And then you start feeling like they're infecting your memory, infecting your brain, infecting how you saw it and how you should see it, and making you feel worse now because you're looking back and you're listening to them and you're thinking, yeah, this is what how it was. And I think memories change. You know, memories change over time according to what you remember. Now, if part of your memory is just lots of people saying how traumatic it was, I feel like they are making it more traumatic than it actually was. And anyway.